What is up, my Squirtalites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to more Let's Play Destiny. In the last episode, we finished up the Bladed Path quest line, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Towards the end of Season of the Witch, Bungie decided to give us access to the final opaque card right here, and this one is incredibly important. Now, I'm only there to grab that because we are now going to immediately head back to the helm and see what this thing actually does. All right, welcome back to the lectern, everybody. Let's activate this thing and see what this opaque card is all about. So it should be this last one here in the bottom right. Grab this, and it says, A Parting Gift, an incantation to unveil the deepest mysteries of the Imbaru Engine, found atop the pillar in the Altar of Ferocity in the Altars of Summoning. Okay, now that we have the Parting Gift opaque card, we're going to want to head back to the Imbaru Engine. All right, and as we make it to the top where the test of navigation awaits, let's head through the portal. And in here, we're going to want to attune with the braziers. Okay, there are 3 braziers here. It says high soulfire ignites throughout the spire. We've got different flames. This one says this flame burns within the altars of summoning. This flame burns within the halls of the spire, and this flame burns within the mist below. So here's the order we're going to collect these in. We're going to go into the altars of summoning first, then Savathûn Spire, and this last one, the mists below, as in the Imbaru Engine says part the mist. Yeah, it's in here. So let's head to the altars of summoning first, where this one is really quick to get, assuming we can actually get into an activity that is not already mid-encounter. So be right back. Okay, I seem to have lucked out this time, as I've actually been able to start a fresh activity, which is going to allow me to get to what I need to get to before anybody starts the activity. And I will certainly not be joining them in starting it. I hate to do that to you guys, but I have more pressing matters at hand, and I cannot run any altars of summoning at the moment. So, remember the door that we went through to then go and fight the Leviathan Eater, which is straight ahead. We are going to make our way to it as quickly as possible. And I am going to activate the deep sight node over here. And what this is going to do is this is going to reveal a path for me up ahead. Now, I'm going to use grapple. This is why I switched to strand, is so I can do this as quickly as possible. We're going to want to head up here, and there is a flame. Let's grasp the flame. And there we go. All right, I'm out of here. Sorry, guys. Well, they start their own activity. Now we're going to head off to Savathûn Spire, and this next one is gotten between the second and the third encounter, as has been so often the case so many times thus far. Okay, we're almost all the way through. Let me just make it to the next section where we have, it's where the 2 spinning pillars and the 1 pendulum are, kind of at the end of this whole thing. So once we get to that, we're going to have a deep sight spot that we can go to. And then we should be able to collect it. I will probably complete this Savathûn Spire if I can get access to that, well, the boss fight that you would have seen at the end of the last episode. But if not, well, then I'm probably just going to be done here. Okay, so turn around, and you're going to see platforms over here. We're going to want to step on this one. I mean, we could always just grapple our way through, but I'd rather just not make any mistakes. And then make our way over here. And boom, grasp the flame. Okay, that's 2 down, 1 more to go, and that is, of course, inside of the Imbaru Engine itself, and it was dumb. I thought I still had a grapple left, and I apparently did not. But yeah, I'll meet you guys back in the Imbaru Engine in just a moment.
Discover what she has hidden from us.
Yeah, okay, would definitely like to. Is this the deep sight thing I need to activate? I don't actually know if it is, but we'll see. Okay, so where the heck are you at? I know you're around here somewhere. Is it this one here? Honestly, I genuinely don't even know the path up this thing. I'm going to have to really pay attention here. Oh, well, here. Oh, we got the footsteps here. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. All right, this is a little promising. Oh, there is our way up. Can we make it without without hitting that? Nope, that didn't work out so well. Okay, let me reset that. And let's try that again. And then we can go, oh, there's actually like a platform like literally right here that helps us get up a little bit easier. Okay, we're going to try to make our way up this thing as quickly as we can. Oh, that could have been bad. That could have been really bad. There we go. Grasp the flame. And done. Okay, now we may proceed to that final room, this very same room where we activated the final card necessary to get through the engine. Now, get used to backtracking, because if you want to do this puzzle legit, and I don't even know why I'm like talking in that tense, because obviously you can't come back to this, but I say these things with the hope that, I don't know, maybe someday, as Bungie is moving on from Destiny 2 and moving into Destiny 3, maybe someday they will just activate all of this stuff and let all of it be played by people for prosperity's sake or something. It's not going to happen, but it would be so cool if it did. I don't freaking know. But anyway, if you wanted to do this puzzle legit, you're going to be doing a lot of backtracking through here. And I am going to be doing backtracking, but I'm only going to be doing so in the context of actually showing you guys how this puzzle works. But like I said before, we are not actually going to be solving the entire puzzle in real time, because this is a very extensive puzzle that requires a lot of information parsing. And if you know where to look, it can take you about 15 to 20 minutes. But if you don't know where to look, it can literally take hours to figure this thing out. So let's head on through here. And now we'll activate this thing first, tune the braziers, and then we're going to want to deposit each of the flames. So hive soul fire throughout the spire. Rekindle this flame first, this flame second, and this flame third. And with all of that done, we have ourselves yet another room. This is the test of truth and lies. And do you remember how truths and lies work in the context of Destiny? Savathun loved to use a little riddle in her Altars of Reflection called Two Truths and a Lie. Every single time we would do these, those altars, she would basically just tell us 3 factoids, and 2 of them would be true, and 1 would not be true, and she would basically just leave it up to us to figure out which is the correct one. Now, if we activate this, we're going to see all of these things light up.
About truth and lies. Left you Guardian stumped. A real humdinger. Let's see how you deal with this one.
Okay, so, man, this thing is freaking complicated. So, this entire puzzle works in several ways. So there are 16 of these Thrall statues that are scattered all throughout the Imbaru Engine. And behind them, and I actually should clarify something I said before, I was saying 2 truths and a lie. Sorry, 2 lies, 1 truth is what I meant to say. I said that backwards. Each and every single one of these statues has a bunch of symbols that will be behind them. Well, 3 exactly. And you need to parse through every single one of these to figure out exactly which one is which. Now, there are ways to do that by such as revealing lies, like you can do this here. You unveil a lie, and boom, that symbol right there is going to tell you that none of the symbols with this lie and every symbol with this truth is going to be activated once you activate all of the statues throughout the thing. Now, you can backtrack through by going through that portal, starting at the beginning, and making your way to each and every single statue. This is not something I am going to do, however. We are going to just do this in a sequence in the exact way that it is meant to be done. And here we can even reveal this really quickly. And you will see right off the bat that it is going to reveal things that are correct and things that are not. So I believe these 2 that are glowing with circles, and let me actually cross-reference my notes here and make sure that this is actually correct. Okay, sorry, I was doing this incorrectly. Let me do this again, but we're actually going to start from here and work our way. And this is why I was getting this wrong, is because I was working on each corner as I went. So activate this one, and then we're going to pass this one over here, and then activate this one. Then we will pass. We will activate this one, pass these 2, and then we will activate this one and activate this one. And now we should be good to submit our tribute. There we go. All of that is information that you get throughout the Imbaru Engine, which ones are the correct one, which ones are not. It's an extremely complicated puzzle until you know what to do. But now we can step on through and see what Savathun has waiting for us.
This is an Ahamkara egg.
uncorrupted by taken energy. Of Riven's clutch? Impossible.
We drove the wish dragons to extinction during the Great Hunt. Riven's eggs were destroyed, or so we thought.
Guardian, you must leave the Spire at once. Ahamkara are powerful beings. Even a newly hatched whim is dangerous.
Wait. Savathun left it here for us to find. Why?
So that it may wreak havoc.
We have to take it back to the Athenaeum.
What?
It can't stay here. Not with Savathun. There's no other course of action.
And if it hatches, what then?
Like you said, the kind of havoc only an Ahamkara whim could wreak. Initiate the Transmat Guardian. We'll make sure it's contained.
This is reckless.
I've decided to follow your example.
Guardian, do as Ikora says. I know who to speak to about this discovery.
And I think I know who you need to speak to as well, because there's really only one person that knows exactly how this works. And ooh, we get ourselves a new shader, we get ourselves a whole bunch of gear, and we get ourselves a new emblem for our troubles. Awesome. So, an Ahamkara egg, you say? We haven't heard about the Ahamkara in this game in a very long time. In fact, going all the way back to Forsaken. But now, suddenly, we have an egg. What could this possibly mean exactly? Well, I suppose we'll find out. So, an Ahamkara egg. And the final wish. What does all of this mean? Let's have a little bit of an explanation before I give you guys the send-off for this. And not just talking about Season of the Wish and all the events going into that. We'll save that for the next episode. Now, what does the final wish mean? What is the context for that? Well, going all the way back to the last Wish raid, which I am hoping by the time I've put this up, we have already covered in this Let's Play. Last Wish was a very influential raid, still considered one of the greatest raids ever put into Destiny, part of the Forsaken expansion, and it was very in-depth in a lot of ways, but one of the most interesting things about that raid was the Wish Wall. The Wish Wall was a spot where you could put in 14 different wishes that would affect different outcomes throughout the raid. So you had some that gave you keys that you could use to unlock certain chests. You could also get extra chests throughout the raid. You could get an emblem by putting in a certain wish. You could teleport to different encounters in the raid using this thing. You could also get some Easter egg dialogue with things from like Failsafe and the Drifter. You could even get the Grunt Birthday Party, which is an homage to Halo that would play throughout the raid every single time you got a headshot. You could get the Extinguish effect, which when added on would basically mean that everybody would be kicked from the raid, and if you could beat the entire raid without dying once, you could unlock a very special emblem for doing so. This was something known as Petra's Run. And you could also add a little halo effect around the player's head. All these little extra wishes. But the thing is that 14 wishes is not the number of wishes that was intended for the Wish Wall. It was 15. For the longest time, and yet we could never figure out what that 15th wish was. All 14 of these wishes were found through different various secrets that could be found throughout the Dreaming City. There were usually like little hidey holes or little extra areas where you could find symbols arrayed in a certain way, and these were the hints for the symbols, but no, for the wishes, excuse me. But nobody was able to find the symbol arrangement for the 15th wish. Until now. And that is the significance of what Savathun has shown on our wings, as well as the lead up to Season of the Wish. So next time, everybody, we are going to be starting the final season of Lightfall. How are we going to get through the portal? How are we going to pursue the witness? How are we finally going to set up the events for the final shape? Find out next time. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.
Ophiuchus, I need you to pull some logs from the Cryptarchy archives. It's been a while since we dealt with an Ahamkara. The Hidden will need to be briefed. Bring up any thesis papers on how the Ahamkara grant wishes. Include all hypotheses on why they seemingly misinterpret people's intentions. Our best minds have been working on this for centuries, so there should be plenty. Next, pull all the hidden reports on the Wall of Wishes. I know it makes bargaining with wish dragons less likely to backfire, but we'll need to know exactly how the Techians designed it. And speaking of the Dreaming City, set aside all the after-action reports from the Keep of Voices, and highlight anything to do with the lost final wish. If the path into the portal really depends on a wish dragon, knowledge will be our most potent weapon. They're powerful in ways that we don't understand, and I'm sure they have some hard feelings after the Great Hunt. We'll need to tread carefully. Ahamkara don't give second chances. So if humanity's survival rests on a wish, it'll have to be impeccable.